Yours truly, the podcast is really gonna expand and iterate as we move to the next 50 episodes.
The next 50. This was fun. This was a good, I don't know, I've enjoyed it. And you're the one that talked me into doing this, and I never thought, now I'm kind of podcast addicted. I never thought I would really love it as much as I do. I look forward to our chats. I like how we tackle a topic.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people know this is like a real conversation. We really, really just don't plan it, and we just start deciding what we're going to talk about.
We're winging it.
We're winging it.
Hello.
Hello, Julie. Oh my gosh. I'm banking on my computer light to light my face today because the sun is setting quickly and early these days. So,
Oh no.
oh my God. But I think I'm okay. Hopefully the lighting will hold up. How are you?
It's our 50th episode.
Oh my God. It's hard to believe. That's insane.
I know.
And it's funny to think about because I was trying to, to your point, my homework was to pick my favorite episode, which was not easy.
I forgot that we even did this.
Did you?
Yes,
Forget?
I did. No, I did it
All
this
right.
morning, but we were just talking about our plan for the episode. I completely forgot about that part.
Yeah. Well, hello. I did my
Hello.
homework.
I know, I did too.
I'm a good student. So I'm going to say, let's just dive right in because we got so many questions and we really want to try and get to as many as we can, but also pick the most poignant ones to answer. So first of all, thank you for sending in questions because we really appreciated that. Really kind of gives us food for thought. And to be fair, I don't think either one of us had a lot of time to think about some of the questions because you collected yours, I collected mine, and I wasn't able to. And I don't even, you started to tell me some of the questions you got. I'm like, oh no, I need time to think about them. So, but we haven't had time to think about them. So the reality is we're going to wing it. But before we start, let's just talk about what our favorite episode is.
You go first, because I think.
Oh, because I picked my favorite, but then picked my second because I had a feeling we were going to have the same favorite episode.
Okay, what was yours?
All right, so if I say mine and it's the same as yours, then I will tell you my second one.
Okay.
So my favorite one was the birthday episode.
Oh.
Is
I
that
didn't
what you
pick
were
that
gonna say?
one. No.
You didn't?
That's a good one, though. I was having a really hard time picking it. Like, I was trying to think of one where it was like the content and the vibe and everything was good. Like, I don't know. I was struggling because I'm like, these are all great episodes.
Me too. And it was funny to listen to some of them because I was like, let me remind myself. And I'll tell you what my second favorite, I'll tell you what my next favorite one was just because I think it matters. I almost did more thinking about that one because I thought you were going to pick the birthday episode. So I really didn't think about it as much, but I know why I love that one so much. But the second favorite was introvert versus extrovert.
Oh my God, I almost picked that one.
And the reason why I picked that one though was because I felt like we learned so much I learned a lot about myself in that episode that you had so many insights. So that was a really, really good one for me. Learning about, I think that I'm an extrovert. I know that I'm an extrovert, but I also always thought like I like alone time, and you really enlightened me to that. The fact that your alone time even has people involved.
Yeah.
And I love when the episode is funny and makes me laugh like off the cuff.
I know.
So that was one of my favorites.
I was trying to think of one. I was looking back through the Instagram of all the teasers, and I feel like one of the ones that I had, this isn't my favorite episode, but one of the ones where I had like the most fun was like the influencers getting influenced, and we were sharing our favorite things we've bought from social media. I feel like that was a really fun one because I feel like it was just like very much a Helen and Julie like episode.
That's how we really talk.
That's how we really talk and how we really share things in real life. It's like,
that's funny.
So I think that was a good one. The one I ended up listening to was our social media life and our real life intersecting. I listened to that one. The introverts versus extroverts was also on my list. And then I thought you were going to pick, and for this reason I did not pick it, was things you don't know about us.
Oh, wow. Okay. I wish that I had picked it, but I didn't. I really focused
just thought
on
that
ones
you were
that
going
made
there.
me laugh. I thought the ones that, number one, because the birthday one was so significant to me because there was
That
such
was
a
fun,
build up for me.
Yeah.
And it was like the planning and the thinking. And then when am I going to drop the bomb on this podcast? And are you really going to be surprised? So that one, there was the whole lead up. I think that's why I really enjoyed that one. And plus we were in a studio then. So I had to walk to the studio. So it was a whole thing. But I ended up just going with introverts and extroverts as my pick, just because I felt that I learned a lot about myself on that episode from you. I like when we talk about things, and then you'll say something insightful that I never thought about before, and I'm like, oh my God, I never even thought about it that way. I really
Yeah.
like when that happens on the podcast, because I don't think people know this is like a real conversation. We really, really just don't plan it, and we just start deciding what we're going to talk
We're
about.
winging it.
We're winging it.
I liked on the episode that I listened to this morning, we were talking about how as police, our kryptonite is that we like to do a lot of things, because we were like talking about how, which this could lead into one of the questions we got, but just how we like to do a lot of things and we don't like to do just one thing. And I was like honestly laughing at myself because I was talking in the episode about how Tommy was into lamp making, and it's just like so funny to think of, you know, how many hobbies that we all have and how many interests, and like, is Tommy even making lamps anymore, or is that phase over?
I haven't seen any lamps. He was making tables recently, so that's also his new
So
thing.
it's changed.
Yeah. I should mention that I was in the Catskills this weekend for people that don't know when we're recording this. And I got to do his sauna and his cold plunge. And
Oh my God.
It was so good. So I saunaed till I was tortured, and then we went out, and it was so easy to get in the cold plunge because I just needed to cool off. And then the cool part was going back in the sauna, and then your skin's like tingling, and it was such a little buzzy feeling that I wanted to do it again and again. So we did it like 3 times. I had 3 cold plunges, and it was really, really
good.
Ugh. Yeah, I forgot to tell you that. That was a big part of the weekend. That was fun for me. Yeah. Jonathan loved being there because of all the Chatham furniture, and it does have like a layout where it feels very open, like that house. So I think he felt really comfortable there. It was funny. It was good. It was a fun weekend.
You got to bring Johnny on a West Coast trip.
I know. I'm ready. To get him out there.
We always have a list of things, or if we see like touristy things, we're like, oh, we'll save that for when Jonathan's
something
brought
he would
to
like
town.
Like it's really kind of traditional touristy things is what he likes. Yeah, that's funny.
I feel like, I know we've been discussing as we iterate the podcast of potentially bringing on guests, and I think I feel like it would be funny if we had guests that are like people out there on social media, and like influencers or content creators or people who are doing cool things out that we're not close with. But I also think it'd be really funny to have like Jonathan on a podcast for like 20 minutes.
Hold up. We were in the car and he said something, and I'm trying to remember why the subject of a podcast came up. Maybe, I don't know what we were talking about. And he goes, I want to do a podcast. Why can't I do the podcast? And I said, oh, you want to be on our podcast? And he was into it. He said, how do you do it? And he was very into the logistics of how we do it and wanted to be on it. So we could make it happen with him.
That'd be so funny. But it would be funny to, have a mix of like, okay, we have like Jonathan on, we have Tommy on for an episode, we have like random people in our personal life that we always talk about on the podcast.
I like that.
And then we also have other people, but that's a whole... Yours truly, the podcast is really gonna expand and iterate as we move to the next 50 episodes.
The next 50. This was fun. This was a good, I don't know, I've enjoyed it. And you're the one that talked me into doing this, and I never thought, now I'm kind of podcast addicted, I never thought I would really love it as much as I do. I look forward to our chats. I like how we tackle a topic, and I don't know. I like to be surprised too about the things you're going to say, like today. So you're going to ask me some of the questions that you got on your feed, and let me know, and let's power through them.
Yeah,
let's do it. I'm a little scared.
All right.
All right. So Julie's going to be in charge of the questions. She's going to take us through the questions because she compiled them from both of our accounts. So here we go.
Shout out to everyone who submitted questions. Special shout out to Steven's friend, Michael, and my friend. He submitted a lot of questions. So,
oh, wow.
Thank you for the thought starters. Okay. Because we just talked about it. Who is our dream guest you would want on the 100th podcast episode?
Oh, boy. Do you have a dream guest in mind already? Or no?
I'm thinking. I got some ideas percolating.
So it's a tough one. It's like, do you want to think like dream guest as if we were able to really get a celebrity on here?
Let's think that way.
Let's think that way maybe, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think it might be funny if we were really to going out there and have like like a crazy dream guest. I think somebody like Bethany Frankel would be so much fun because she has a
Mm.
daughter. And so her and her daughter are now making a lot of content together, I've noticed. And I think we could do a lot of, she might ask us questions about our relationship because of how because you're older than her daughter. And we might be able to talk to her about like what it's, how the struggles of having a teen and what are you navigating through the things that, the letting
Mm.
go. I think she would be fun. Plus she's so real and she's so straight up. Like there's no holes barred with her. I would love to have her on. Might be my choice.
Okay. I have to think.
And
I
she's a friend
literally
with me
don't.
she's a friend with me on TikTok, so maybe it could
Ooh!
happen.
You guys are followers. Do you guys follow each other?
Yes, it comes up friends when she comes up on my page. I didn't
Oh my
realize that
gosh.
until, but I don't know. She came up on my page and I was like, oh, she's following me back. How fun.
Oh, I asked this question. I don't even have an answer. It's like
You don't have an
T
answer?
Swift, but like that's not going to happen. So I'm trying to think of
Right,
like
that's a real reach.
a dream that's also somewhat attainable.
Attainable.
Maybe like a
Possibly
comedian, maybe like
Oh.
like Taylor Tomlinson or like a comedian that's bigger. Yeah, I'm going to go with that
All
because I
right.
feel like obviously
That fits.
we're a small little pod, but
It was fun to listen to the other podcast that was, when I was listening to the podcast Introverts and Extroverts, or was it the birthday one? Whichever one was first. I listened to both of those. It was when you were just taking the comedy class. We had not even come out to see you yet. And it was
wow.
so interesting to listen back to that episode because I was like, you're doing this, you're putting yourself out there and you're trying that. We didn't even know you were good at it, and it's funny. I was talking about how, it's so amazing of you. Like you put yourself out there, you try things, and you do a class when you want to learn something. And
Yeah.
all right,
That's a good
funny.
one.
All right, so
Yeah.
now let's go on to the next question. What else you got?
This one was what were our dream jobs growing up? Specifically, it was like, did Julie always want to be a stand-up comedian?
Oh, Lord.
And I can think we can pose that question to you as well. Dream job growing up. You know what I always think when I think about that question is like when I used to go to the doctor, like the pediatricians, like they'd always ask you every year, like what you want to be when you grow up. I don't know why they did that.
Okay.
Or if that's like a normal thing, but I always used to put author.
Oh, really?
So I feel like that
First of all, that was a Dr. Lon thing.
yeah,
right?
that was a Dr. Lon.
Oh, he's
Shout
so
out.
sweet. Shout out to Dr. Lon. May he
I'm like,
rest
I don't
in
think that's like a
peace.
normal thing. Oh, what?
I know. I'm sorry. He's not with us anymore. But he was like so special because of a thing that happened with Tommy when he said he never had a patient thank him before because Tommy said thank you when he gave him had walking pneumonia and he gave him something to make him feel better and he said thank you to the doctor and the doctor stopped and he went, I don't think I've ever had a patient that's a child say thank you. I've had a lot of parents, but never a child. It was so sweet. Very sweet man he was. All right, so dream
I feel
job.
like mine always was author, like writing, which is kind of how my life is evolving a little bit.
Sure. That's a very attainable dream for you.
Yeah.
Actually, you're published now in the book.
It's true.
That you have writing credits already. So that's exciting. So technically you did fulfill that. But now you just have to fulfill it with topic that would be fulfilling for you.
Yeah. Okay, what's yours?
I mean, we were so limited in our dreams when I was growing up because it was teacher, nurse, you know what I mean? Those are the days where you were like a mom, you were a teacher, and when I was because I was studying music, it was like music teacher. Oh, I didn't want to be a music teacher. So I think possibly like as a very young child, probably was teacher. As crazy as that sounds, because I liked playing school. And whenever we played, my sisters and I played school. And what I just realized what this actually means. How crazy is that? I didn't even connect the dots on that one.
Yeah.
Wow. But I did. I always wanted to be a teacher. And then as I evolved and I got into doing production and everything, I think it was each time I would see a role that I liked, I'm like, oh, I want to be a producer. So then that was my dream job. So I was kind of always looking at what's near me enough to dream about. I never really had a far-reaching one like that was so far out there.
Wow.
So yeah,
Look at
that's
you coming full circle. I feel like
yeah.
my thing has always, like the author thing was always a big one. And then obviously doing art. But I would never say like, oh, being a graphic designer was my dream job growing up. You know, that
Right.
didn't really like happen until I was like an adult. And I was like, well, what do I want to do to make money? And that was kind of like, well, I really like art and being creative. I feel like part of the reason I got off the author train is because I was really bad at grammar and like
Oh.
grammar stuff growing up in like elementary school. I was
Now they
so
have
bad at
Grammarly
it.
and such.
I know. I'm like, I don't even need to know these things.
You don't now. That's ridiculous.
Ugh. But I feel like the stand-up comedy thing, and then I think about it, and I've always thought whenever I've watched stand-up comedy, it's like, well, I could do that. Like
Oh, wow.
anytime I've watched stand-up comedy, even like before I even thought about taking a class, anytime we'd like watch a special, I'd be like in the shower the next day, like I could make a funny joke, and I would, yeah. So
Wow.
maybe it's been in like the back of my head, but I haven't
Maybe.
realized it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that. And you know how you one time said to me you wanted to make a set for me?
That was the next question. It was this
is
is a
it?
this is a Michael question specifically. Will we ever see Helen do stand up?
Okay. Let me just say this because this is important for me to mention. And I wonder if Chris is going to be listening to this. I was out with Chris Anderson one night and she was talking about how she takes these improv classes. And then she mentioned that there's a stand-up comedy class and how much she thinks that I should do it and da 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 da. And I said, this is exactly what I said. I hope you can appreciate this. But I said, I really think that that's Julie's lane. And as much as I would do it for fun, I wouldn't want to steal your thing. I can't even explain it. And I don't know if that would bother you. Maybe it doesn't even because you're mentioning it.
No. I always thought that if you ever came out to a show, I would write you like a cold open or like a little monologue, or I'd write you like 3 to 5 minutes of jokes to do, even if you just like read it off, because I think it would be funny. So
I would, first of all, I would love to do it. I'm not funny enough to write it, but I could, I know that I am confident enough now that I could get up and perform it. I think that I could. I just don't have the clever writing skills. Although, let's just talk about what about my idea last night that I was texting you? I was going to save that for the podcast today. But I said, Julie, I have an idea for a set for you that you have to take on.
Okay.
Because every time I get in a car and I go to put my purse somewhere, I'm like, why is there no place for women to put a purse in the car? Because cars are definitely designed by men, obviously, because there's no place to put a purse. So I think that you should do a whole set on if women designed cars, if women designed bathrooms or whatever it is, because I think that's a whole funny thing there of how it would be different. Because how is a car not designed with a console with a spot to put a purse? How? Are we in 2024?
Because only men design them.
I guess.
I think one of my favorite parts about doing stand-up is that now everyone will like send me their ideas for jokes, but then it's also just like a funny little insight into their observations of the world.
Right, but then you could make it into a joke, though.
I know. I have
funny, though.
I have 2 new joke ideas that I write them down. Like I feel like I get a lot of random joke ideas right before I'm about to go to bed, and it's so frustrating because I'm like, I'm falling asleep. I have an idea. I have to wake up and I have to go write it down, or else I'm going to forget it. And I had these 2 ideas that I wrote down, and I went to my notes app like 3 days later, and I'm like, oh my God, I completely forgot about these ideas.
Wow.
So it happens. And it's happened before where I like about to fall asleep, like, I'll remember it in the morning. I never remember it in the morning.
No, you don't remember. I know. You got to write it down.
One of the ideas was like, I'll do a little, it was like, I'm 28. I'm getting to this. My biological clock is ticking. I have no jokes for this yet, but I was like, the premise is like my biological clock is ticking. I can either be like a childish, wrinkly hag, or I can get Botox. And compare like I can't afford kids or a dog, but like now my biological clock is ticking in terms of like, do I commit to Botox because then I have to commit to the next 18 to 22 years of funding it on my face, and like do that kind of. I thought that would be like a funny, but who knows? Okay, enough.
That's funny. But you can write me a set, and I'm game for doing it. I just don't want to.
I know.
As I said to Chris, I'm not going to steal her thunder. Like this is her thing, and I'm not competing with that. So you do you, but I'll be happy to support and be your funny sidekick.
Oh my goodness. Okay, next question. A what? Like a combo set?
That'd be funny. Like, yeah,
Like a little
you
act?
just like you just I'm up there. So I don't know. We'll think about
Could
it.
do a roast. Can you imagine?
Great.
Well, then you could
That'd be
roast
easy.
me right back.
I can. I'm not good at that.
It would be fine.
All right, what's the
It would be
next
good.
question?
I'd get you some writers. I would give you my comedian friends
I'm
to
gonna
help you
need
write a
help.
set.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. I'm gonna say this one, but it'll be quick. Another Michael question. Can we get a Steven segment? That would be so funny if we could get
I
Steven
think
to
it
come
would.
on for 5 minutes and just chat it up. Steven,
I'd
maybe
be
we give
game.
Steven, we've listened to podcasts where like the producers will like cut their mic in and be like, all right, we're gonna roll to ads right now. I feel like Steven needs that. He
Oh,
needs his little like
that's
punch
funny.
in where he gets the microphone.
We got to do a punch in. I like that. We got to get one.
Or
with
he
we
fact
gotta
checks
get-
us.
That's so funny. We can
Okay.
get Tommy too, but Tommy's hard to pin down schedule wise. Because we could
Yeah.
get Tommy in one.
Yeah.
We could have him walk us through all his hobbies and the evolution of his hobbies. How he took on juggling and he was relentless. All right, what else you got?
All right. Favorite video we've created together. And I feel like we could also expand this one to our favorite videos we've created just as social media people.
So I think the one when we were at Target and you did me because I was laughing so hard. It's just that we didn't do it together, but I filmed it and you did it. And I just I just think that one is one of my classic favorites because we were thinking of the bits together and we were like writing comedy together. You were performing it, mind you, and I was filming it and giggling the whole time. And I just love those. I wish we could do more of those. I missed that we didn't do it in Tahiti. We should have done,
I know.
I love when you do the imitating me ones.
I liked the first one we ever. Oh my god, those are always the best ones we do together. But the Target one was really good. The first one we ever did was really good because I was like, Julie, you want to go for a run? You want to go make you feel better? And then I think the one that we did at the Museum of Natural History was all we were both cackling while we were making it while we were in the museum because it was just
because you know what, we're being creative and we're brainstorming on the fly, so it's not just like a dance video that we're doing. Like those are fun. And when we did the one on the boat where you were like we were lip syncing and I was supposed to be the singer, those are fun, but they're not like as because the ones where you imitate me, it becomes like an editing adventure. We're cutting the bits together. I'm usually editing it and then I'm moving things around and I have a good sense of the editing on it. So it's like very collaborative. Even though it looks like it's just you performing it, those are very collaborative.
I know.
So I
we
love
need
those.
to do more of those.
What else? Next question.
Oh my God. The really good one that we did was me pretending to be you on a hike. Do you remember that one? Because then I remember you started explaining while we're in the middle of this hike. Helen starts explaining a TV show that her and Dad were watching, and you were just going on and on and on. You're like, I don't understand why she did that. And me and Steve were like, because it's a TV show. Like, it's fake. It's not like someone actually killed this person. It's a scripted fake TV show. And you're like, I just don't understand why someone would do something like that.
This is a good reason why I don't watch TV or read books. I get way too invested and I think it's real.
I have the same issue because it is, we're recording this mid-October. It is like spooky season. Steven really wants to watch a scary movie. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't think I can do this. Like, I am too scared to watch a scary movie because I will go to bed and then I'll have dreams about the movie.
I feel you on that. I don't like scary movies.
Quick question. Best pizza we've ever had. Is it Chicago style, New York pizza? What kind of pizza? Where was it?
Well,
and why was it the best
that's a
piece
hands
of pizza?
down easy answer for me, baby.
Pizzana.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Pizzana is an LA-based pizza
in Los
place.
Angeles. Go figure. And I live in New York, the land of the pizza. I mean, I love the pizza here, but Pizzana just blew me away. The first time I ever had that Parmesan cream pizza thing,
so good.
Went to heaven. I died and went to heaven. So, did we determine if there's a Pizzana in New York? Should I find out?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
You'll just have to come to LA.
What about yours?
Pizzana is a good one. I'll say a different one because I'll first say in terms of the styles, I am not a Chicago style pizza person at all. Even living there, no, pass. I think my favorite pizza ever was like a pizza that Steven and I had in Italy. It's called like Giusta
Oh, yeah.
Pizza, and it was probably some of the best
Yeah,
pizza
yeah,
we've
I
ever
could
had,
see
and it
that.
was like $6. It was amazing. But Pizzana's up there.
Pizzana. And pizza for me, if I was given the one food I had to eat for the rest of my life, I think it would be pizza because I know that I can change
Mm.
it and you can have vegetable pizza and meat pizza and all of that. So that's why I always have said that was my go-to if I had one meal I had to always have, that I would be able to, I could make breakfast pizza.
It's
I
so
could
funny
do it.
because Dad doesn't like pizza, so
I know.
whenever he's not around, it's like that's when we get pizza because
Yep.
we love pizza. I am surprised that you'd say that pizza would be the one food if you could
Yeah,
only
it's
eat one
surprising,
food.
right?
That's
I've given
surprising.
this a lot of thought, though. A lot of thought through the because I think it would satisfy all the food groups for me.
Yeah.
And I did that nutrition test recently. What?
When you went to Croatia, you're like, I had the best pizza. It's like no matter where you go, you somehow have pizza, and you're like, it's the best
Yes.
pizza. I
They
feel
have
like you
good
just
pizza in
don't
Croatia.
discriminate.
It's near Italy, so they do have good pizza there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I think if we're gonna go in New York, my favorite pizza is La Industrie, which you haven't gone to yet, but it's very good.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll have to get there. In New York, that is. La Industry?
Yeah. La
How come I haven't
Industrie.
gotten there?
Yeah.
I have to get there.
I don't know.
I'm looking at the lighting. It's really getting dark in here.
I know we can start to wrap it up so that
Let's get a couple more questions in, though.
I don't have too many more. I was just picking out a few. What do we like? We can wrap it up on the questions and just. Podcasting has been so fun. What else? I don't know. What else do we want to do what do we could do a little brainstorm.
We could do a brainstorm. I mean, I feel that the best episodes are when we really are working things out. And I almost want us to maybe have episodes where we do have hypothetical scenarios that we just walk through and decide how would we tackle this scenario if this happened. Although I don't always love that because I bless you.
Yeah.
Because
Sorry.
I'd like to cross that bridge when we get to it. That's the kind of person I am. But it might be fun to do some figuring out what we might do.
Steven's been listening to a podcast where people write in or call in advice. We should have people call in their life advice questions.
That's funny. I wonder how we could work that out logistically. All right, let's ponder that. That's a good one.
People would just have to send voice memos in.
I do think it's time to maybe bring in some guests.
I do too. I think guests is the next phase.
Maybe like once a month we start having somebody on, and then the next week we could talk about what we talk. The follow up to the guest or the debrief.
Yeah, debrief.
Something like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be good. I've enjoyed podcasting. I'm glad you finally agreed to it.
I did have to get my head wrapped around it, and I understand it now because it's more. The content is so different than anything else. It's not like we'd make a video about this. It's not like we're making a documentary of each other, but yet this feels somehow documentary-ish. And especially when I was listening to it to pick of my favorite episode, I was like, oh my gosh, that was that in the timeline. And that's when we talked. Oh, but that was just when I realized this is before you even performed your first stand-up set, and that I had gone back in time. And I'm a big fan of, you like to journal. I like to have a video diary of what I did. I like to scroll back on TikTok and see where I was 2 years ago. And that to me is, I think, just a way of preserving our memories in a different way than we ever were able to do before. So I'm grateful for it. This digital age. I am. This digital age. And now we even have like our diary of our podcast. I don't know. I like it. I'm thankful that you talked me into it. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're so welcome.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's wrap it up, and maybe we'll do some more questions next week if we get more. If we have others,
that'd be fun.
We'll see what happens. All right. And then I'll have a wrap up of my upcoming shoot, and then hopefully a little downtime after that because Mama needs a little downtime.
Mama needs some phone time.
If I need some phone time, I need to get my studio together. Got lots to do. That was a funny thing too. I was going back to talk one of the ones where it was introvert versus extrovert, and you were talking about how even when you're alone, you're with people because you're on social media socializing. I was like, accurate.
It happens.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us. Yours truly,
Helen and Julie.
Ta 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 ta, da 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 da. Da-da-da-da. And if you enjoy the podcast today, let's cue the music. Oh my gosh. If you enjoyed it today, please send us questions for next time. Actually, take us outside the box and make us answer questions that we might be uncomfortable answering, because I think that makes it all the more fun.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ask us uncomfortable questions. I think that'd be I think people would actually maybe be more interested in submitting questions for something like that. I think we got to do it. All right. You know where to find us, hellosocialize.com, and our socials, The Mothership and Julie Polisi, and on TikTok with an _. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you soon. Give us a review. 5 stars.
Bye. 5 stars.